Are you into fighting, MMA, wrestling, or are you just some sicko who likes seeing someone get fucked up? Then don't miss out on the Fightday Fanboy podcast with leading experts Alex Kelly and Poirier Walsh. Speaking everything fighting, hearing your opinions, and apparently they even have inside betting information. Just saying. Described by Joe Rogan as the next big podcast. Statement may or may not be true. So make sure you jump on Instagram, YouTube, then like, follow, and subscribe. Because if you don't, you're kind of like a bit of a dipshit, eh?
Anna.
There's only one Dan Hooker, and he's got precision, and he's going to beat Michael Chandler by decision.
I don't think it's going to go the way you think, Peter Walsh. I don't think it's going to go the way you think.
I 100% know.
I think this is
No,
the
you're
one
probably right.
I think this is the one Bellator guy to do it. I don't know. I don't know fully.
Dan Hooker's a fucking animal, though.
He is.
And like Chandler said, Chandler recognizes and knows that the competition now is the best in the world. I mean, yeah, he was having a lot of success in Bellator and that, but the competition is a step up now. He's playing with the big boys, and Dan Hooker is a big boy.
He doesn't. Is like the Masvidal for Ben Askren, but not in a way that it's like 5 seconds, because that's all we can think about. But he's the kind of real dog in that division. You know what I mean? If you want to give him any hard fight, it's that one.
It's 100%. You know what's funny is we almost just saw the exact same fight in the matchup with Chiesa and Magny. When you look at those two and contrast both their fighting styles to each other, that's pretty much what Dan Hooker is to Michael Chandler.
Yeah, but any idiot could have predicted that Chiesa versus Magny fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked Chiesa by decision, didn't I?
I picked Chiesa, but, the bookies... No, you didn't. You were going fucking... Stop.
My rib. Oh, my rib actually hurts. Fucking hell. This is
your karma.
I was wrong, okay? Fucking Chiesa smashed him.
But I don't know, look, I picked Chiesa just going off his last fight with RDA, and he's almost like it's a rebirth for him. It's just like this new and improved Michael Chiesa, and he's fucking... That performance was unreal, and he called out Colby Covington. I mean, Colby Covington's fucking... You know how I think of him, but judging off his performances, he could give him a run for his money.
100%. It's quite... Yeah, that fight was one of those fights where it's like, it's down to the wire. It's the one person. It's a person versus person, and we're just going to see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Magny would be able to get it done, but obviously Chiesa's, he's fucking so good. You can't underrate veterans. You can never underrate veterans in this fucking sport.
Just when you think they've had their day, they come back and fucking boom.
Come back and fucking kill it. So we've got a lot to break down, don't we? We got the Chandler Hooker fight. I just want to do the 2 fights. That's all I want to do. This is a very lax episode. I want to do the co-main
There's
event.
There's nothing really else on the card that's fucking worth talking about, to be honest.
Well, that's what happens in McGregor fights, right? You're at a point where he can sell the whole thing himself. You don't need it,
Yeah,
but
100%.
Just out of Dana's good graces, he decided to give us the Chandler vs Hooker fight as well, which sets it up pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm. Does he do that to also have backups? I know they do work that in cards and everything, but if something was to happen to Poirier overnight, he would cancel that co-main, and one of those guys would go up. Is that right?
100%. Chandler's already been the backup for obviously the...
Also, do you reckon they'd choose Chandler?
I reckon they'd choose Chandler, yeah.
If Poirier got rushed off to the hospital at 4 a.m. with a hernia, then Chandler would go in.
Chandler or Hooker. I mean, it should realistically be the person who's the most ranked, and
I'd pick.
Michael
I just
Chandler isn't. Hooker deserves it more
Hooker
so.
deserves it. He's been in the He's been in the UFC. He's been performing. I mean, you can't just, give this guy a contract and give him fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, but
It's not
then
that
you
I
look
don't
at
respect Chandler.
it and you go, well, he already gave Chandler. He already made Chandler the backup for Khabib versus Gaethje. So, you know, I
Yeah.
so you don't know what really the mentality is there, and you don't
Mm.
also know what the mentality is when it comes to Connor as well. Do you think Connor would be better off fighting Chandler or Hooker? I mean, personally, I reckon he'd be better off fighting Hooker. In his mind, if Connor was going to take the easy matchup, which he doesn't usually, so I shouldn't really put
Connor's
this
never
on
been
him.
one to stand down to any fight. Connor will fight anyone.
Uh-huh. But I feel like Hooker's going to be an easier matchup for him in terms of the way Hooker comes forward. It's like a Poirier, but it's almost better. It's almost better for him because Hooker's really going to engage, whereas Poirier you'll see step back sometimes. You know.
Hooker's got a chin too. He'd be a bad matchup for Connor in the sense that I don't reckon he'd go down easy. I think it would be almost like a Nate Diaz kind of thing.
Back when we were doing these talks originally, I remember the idea of Connor versus Hooker came up, and I thought that made the most sense because, you know, I think this wasn't before the Cerrone fight. Oh, maybe it was, but it was just after Cerrone fight where it was like Connor's got to get back in the division, and Hooker made a lot of sense for it. For an actual exciting matchup with Connor. Connor versus Hooker has the potential to be like if it goes a distance, like Felder versus Hooker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I just don't think they hold on that because Dan Hooker's just not quite. He is to us, but to the MMA, to the UFC community, he's just not quite the star
yeah,
that you throw in with Connor yet. After this
yeah,
performance against Chandler, say if he runs train and on Chandler, then he would very
yeah,
much well be next in line. And if you were Dan Hooker, you would be calling out Connor if you win that fight.
yeah.
He's always been really smart with his call outs, and he's always sort of called his next fight and succeeded. If I was Dan Hooker, I'd be calling out Connor after winning this fight.
You know
And
what's funny about Dan Hooker,
he very
man?
well might get it.
It's
Well,
like he's almost already fucking put the Oliveira name out there. That's what's crazy about Hooker. He's already
Charlie
chosen
Olive.
almost. Yeah, he's almost
Yeah,
chosen the hardest fight in the division. You know what I mean?
yeah.
The scariest and least rewarding in some senses. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like if you were to beat Charlie Olives as opposed to fucking Conor McFucking Whiskey, you wouldn't. There's not much clout in that compared to beating Conor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, I agree.
again, fucking. So now that we've broken down Conor versus Hooker, let's get into the COVID.
Yeah.
Fuck. My rib.
Jeez, you
Very.
really are.
Oh, I'm
Can you
fucked.
just
I'm actually
can you
fucked.
just put the camera down so I can see the full shirt? Jesus
It's the
Christ, Alex.
it's the
Put the
mystic.
camera back up. Put the camera back
Yeah,
up.
put the camera back up. It's the Mystic Mac. All right, this is fucking
It is.
this Gucci mink with the fur coat. All right,
And without
fucking
me, this whole ship sink.
this is fucking this is McGregor ambitious. This is McGregor ambitious. And what other than a coat bender, I'm probably gonna wear this the whole way into fight week. So
Perfect.
yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect.
It's okay. So this co-main event, let's get it sorted. Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. I already know. I already have an idea, pretty much from like your ambience has already given off a response for me to know who you're going to pick in this fight. But just for the
You've heard
sake
my
of it,
jingles.
just for the sake of it, Dan Hooker, right? You don't think Chandler's
Mm-hmm.
got what it takes?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I just don't. I just think fucking Dan Hooker's too much of a dog. I think Michael Chandler just Look, I respect Michael Chandler and he's a champion. Like we were saying before, it's a bit of a step up in competition. We don't really know until we know. I just think Dan Hooker's he's too good at striking. He's one of the only fighters that I've personally seen who can strike backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we know Chandler's going to come forward. He's going to come for a takedown. I think it's a very dangerous zone for him to be playing that game with Hooker. Hooker's too good on the defense.
What did Hooker say in the pre-fight press conference? He pretty much said, I've got a good game to match you. And then Michael Chandler almost admitted it. He was so close to admitting it, like he almost knew it.
Yeah.
That's half the battle. That's half the mental battle.
Well, that's mental, case. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. He could already be in his head.
The thing is, I think Dan Hooker's definitely got the durability to beat Michael Chandler. However, it just depends on how explosive Michael Chandler looks in the octagon, right? I don't even this is one of those fights where it's so up in the air that I can't even really give an official prediction on it, but I have to. And I actually think in my mind, I think if it goes because it'll go to points. That's my opinion. I don't think you're going to see a KO out of this one. I think it's almost going to be like a Dan Hooker shutout. I don't actually think Michael Chandler's going to be able to get the offense in to win the rounds, just because of how rangy and lengthy he is.
This is what's crazy is the textbook says with their fighting styles that if it does go to decision, and I haven't looked at the odds, but I could only assume that if it does go the distance, Chandler would be the favorite, as opposed to Poirier and Connor. You know what I mean? Like, it would favor Poirier in the later rounds. It probably favor Chandler because of the takedowns and stuff. I just don't think he's going to get them.
No, me neither. I don't think so
but either. if Chandler does execute that, it does favor him in that wrestling department because he can take him down and try and keep him down. But gone are the days where fighters are kept down. I mean, fighters are too good at scrambling these days, especially Dan Hooker. He's going to scramble straight back up and keep piecing him up again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fighters of that caliber. It's very rare that they're kept down these days.
Yeah. It's all up to him, man. It's all up to him. It's all going to come down to who Michael Chandler is, and we haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it in Bellator. We've seen everything else. We can try and match up and get a comparison, but it's only been against ex-UFC champions, right? That's the only real basis we can do to add this into it, and all these ex-UFC champions he's faced, like Benson Henderson, Eddie Alvarez, but you look at these, and you think about it, these guys were all past their prime or past the dominant performance against them before he could beat them. So it's up in the air. It's fucking up in the air. But official prediction, call it Hooker by decision. Me too. I can't see anything else.
Beautiful.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's
all right,
make
cool.
Let's make some money. Clearly, I'm already doing well.
My rib. So let's clear the air. So we were making fun of Tyron on the last podcast, and then I was at wrestling training the other day, and I got thrown the wrong way, and the exact same thing happened to me. And I believe this is just pure karma, and this is why I'm doing this podcast from a bed.
Except when it happened, you didn't call out, my rib.
I didn't actually. I actually walked it off better. I walked it off, and then I felt the pain the next night. I mean, mentally.
We could only assume Tyrone's injury was worse, right?
I woke up. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I woke up at 2 a.m. in pain, and I was like, "Oh, my rib." But that was it. I got through the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
So we're doubling down on Woodley. So I think next episode I'm going to be in a much worse of a state. The karma's going to catch up with me at one point. But we've got Tyron coming on the show next week. So
beautiful. And we can
No,
get that. We should tee up the Instagram injury guru to come on
MMA
and
medic.
explain. MMA medic can explain what's happening.
All right, let's get to the main event before. No, this is a no frills podcast, but we're getting it all sorted. We're going to get our official predictions done because we said we'd do it. I'm sitting here injured rib. You know, I'm not exactly fighting a 5-round war with Colby Covington, but I'm doing my best to get this shit done.
Let's go.
Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, the big one, the biggest event of the year. This is the probably going to be almost the biggest event of the year if my prediction comes true about the Habib thing. Biggest fight of the year almost. It's not even for a belt. Kicking off Fight Island with a pretty massive fight. Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, number 2. First one ended in 90 seconds. Conor vows this one will end in 60 seconds. I don't know if he fully believes that, but we'll see what happens. I think he could do it. I think he could definitely do it. The question is what Conor McGregor is going to show up, and I feel like last time we had the same questions and we all got shut down. I wasn't necessarily rooting for Cerrone in that fight, but I'll tell you, I have my doubts about McGregor. Just
But he proved us.
He proved us all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Big time wrong. And the way I look at it right now, to give my official prediction on this whole thing, I'll do it in a long roundabout way, okay? So if Poirier is able to, show up, if his striking acumen is enough to get Conor past 2 rounds, I would say the fights in round 4 and 5 at least, the fight favors Poirier just due to experience in those rounds. However, Poirier stated in an interview, he said, I'm going to come out and make this a bloodbath. I'm going to do this and that. And if he's coming out with these big exchanges and he gets a little bit wild with the hands, I think it's lights out for Poirier. And to be honest, if it's coming from the horse's mouth that he's saying he's going to do that, I think you're going to see Conor late round 1. If not late round 1, early round 2. And that's my official prediction. But do not count Poirier out in this fight because I believe Poirier has the stamina at least to go those 5 rounds and show up Conor in those later rounds and trick him up. But I just believe that Conor's the superior striker in the first one. He's probably going to be the superior striker in the second one, and he's only gotten better. And the proof's in the pudding. You can look at him, you look at his physique, you look at everything, you look at the Cerrone performance. Not even one strike landed against him in that fight. There you have it. Now to you, Peter Walsh.
So, fuck. Where do I start on this one? So I tend to agree. I tend to agree with pretty much all you.
Interruption here. Yeah.
My official prediction is I think Conor's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done quick. I remember listening to the press conference yesterday, and he did predict he was going to get it done in 30 seconds and this and that. But he also did say, I was frustrated. I was frustrated.
Sorry, we're having interruptions here. Keep going. Sorry.
We'll pause and come back. Go get your shit sorted. Hello. Fuck,
man, Layla came through with the perfect intro and the perfect entrance, and I fucked it up. It was all me. It was all me.
Yeah.
She was being real quiet, and I'm just like,
distracted.
All right, let's get this shit again. Hold on. Peter Walsh, your official prediction for the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight.
So yeah, I tend to agree with what you said. I think Conor will get it done. I think he'll get it done earlier. But he did predict the 60-second KO. he also said that at the press conference that, he was frustrated with a 60-cent KO with Poirier. It was infuriating, I think the words he used, because he does want more octagon time. And I think he is longing for, a bit of a war, a long drawn-out war. And we've seen Conor be a warrior. We've seen him go in a long drawn-out war with Nate Diaz, 5 years ago, however long it was. He hasn't really done anything like that since. And so he doesn't have the octagon experience. But I just think the type of fighter Conor is he fights better. He fights better defensively. He strikes harder counter striking. If Poirier does come in and rushes in, like he said in the interview, I think that's bullshit. I think that Poirier would have an actual game plan to win. I think that he would know that if he rushed Conor, he's going to get slept. I think he might be saying that. A part of me thinks he could just be saying that at an interview, hoping that it just stirs Conor. It could. I wouldn't take what he said in the interview too solidly. I think he'll come out. Do you get what I mean? But
I get exactly what you're saying.
I think if he rushes Conor strikes better defensively. He's going to counter him. He's going to sleep him. But if he also doesn't come towards Conor, we all know Conor's going to come for him. Conor also strikes offensively as well. Yeah. He's more so going to go for the body and stuff if he comes offensively, and just break him down and then get him in a hard body shot and then sleep him anyway. I think Conor just comes out. He comes out like a champion greyhound. And if Poirier might be able to withstand the shots, he might be.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he will. I think it'll be a round 1 KO. I don't even think it'll go round 2 like the Eddie Alvarez fight. I don't think he'll even bother picking him like he did with the Alvarez fight and make it a bit exciting. I think he'll just I think it'll be a whitewash. My prediction would be less than 2.5 minutes. I'd say almost 2 minutes. I've got a bet on a KO in less than 2 minutes, and I just know that it's going to be 2 minutes 15. Fuck. I just know. I just know it'll be 2 minutes 15. But that's my official prediction.
The way I look at it right now, there's two things. There's two things to take from it. Did you see the John Kavanagh interview with Conor? So John Kavanagh had this interview, and he made this whole bit where he's like, we've been training orthodox stance for Conor this whole fight, and he's like, oh shit, can you take that out? Told Ariel to edit the podcast, and then it still went ahead. So in my mind, this is an obvious mind game, and the fact that his coach is playing mind games at this level is fucking tremendous. And I think Conor's not going to come out in an orthodox stance. There's no way.
No.
And Ariel would be told to edit that thing, and he said, "Yeah, we can edit it out," and he didn't. So there's so many factors to this.
This is what I mean. Who knows? I would take what Poirier said in an interview that he's going to come out looking for blood. I would take that with a grain of salt, and I would take this whole unorthodox orthodox stance, southpaw, whatever.
Yeah,
just with a grain of salt.
The way I look at it right now, if you look at the pre-fight press conference, you watched the pre-fight press conference, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did Poirier not look like he had a lot on his mind? I'm just being honest. Did you look at him and he looked empty?
So you messaged me last night, so the press conference is live, and I went straight on. And soon as I logged on and saw Poirier sitting at the desk, everything about him sitting at the desk was shoulders hunched forward, just everything showed fear. Conor's, without even being in his head, is in his head. Right now, Dustin, whatever time it is in, Dubai, he's fucking thinking of Conor. He's thinking of the fight. And it's, you could just tell that it's just so in his head. Whereas Conor right now would be probably spending time with his family laughing.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that plays a big factor in the mental warfare of it. The Dustin's, it's a bigger risk for Dustin, and it's a bigger fight for Dustin. Whereas Conor takes these fights with a grain of salt. Do you know what I mean? They're nothing to him.
Yeah,
And
No,
he's
you're
going to
right,
go in.
100%.
He's going to go in clear. And even when they faced off, you could. I don't know. I'm no expert on fucking body language and stuff, but I saw a scared Poirier.
Yeah, I know. I
And
guess.
the shit talking's long and dusted between these two. They got nothing but respect for each other, and I think that's what's throwing Poirier off even more. Is that
Yes.
Connor in his last couple of press conferences, he's been nothing but a gentleman.
Well, let's see what Ally Quinter's comments when he said, the fact that Poirier's being so nice to Connor and everything. It's almost like Connor's already won the fight. Let's see how much that actually plays in and see what actually comes of that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
there could be a lot of true words in saying that.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Anyway,
But no, I agree.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I agree with you with that. I noticed that too.
Yeah. Well, let's just leave it there. This has been a very disjointed fight day, fanboy, but it's we've got a little bit here. We've got a little bit at the end here talking about the landscape of the division, the fight day, fanboy, breakdown of how we look at this division as a whole and whether Khabib's willing to come back for a Poirier rematch. I don't think he's ready to come back for a Poirier rematch. I don't think he has shown a ridiculous amount of enthusiasm fighting Connor. Again. So I don't know how this outcome changes, that sort of thing in the division as a whole. I think if for Khabib to come back, he would have to be stripped, and Connor have to be champion for Khabib to come back and get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Or am I wrong?
Well, that would make Khabib hungry for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
right.
Connor's gonna get under his skin once he gets that belt.
1000%.
And say, come get it off me. Come get it off me.
Come get it off me.
And he blatantly said at the press conference too, when one of the media spokesmen asked him, he's like, do you want the Khabib fight? Do you think that there's ever going to be any more, animosity and trouble between you two? And he's like, as long as I get to fight him again, we won't have a problem.
We won't have a fucking problem.
As long as I get to fight him again, we won't have a problem.
Fightday Fanboy episode, who the fuck knows? 11, 12, 12. No, 12, 11, something. Fightday Fanboy, Poirier, Mcgregor, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, always, Peter Walsh, being an incredible guest, giving your expert breakdown. No Pete's Bet of the Week this week?
Put your money on decision by Hooker.
Decision by Hooker.
Just
all right.
Fucking, just do that one. Just fucking
10 grand. 10 grand on
paying
Poirier.
$4.20.
10 grand, Hooker by decision, $4.20. Return, $42,000. Is that right? Oh, man.
42,000, yep. If Sportsbet doesn't have those odds, find a bookie that does.
All right, I'm going to nurse my ribs. Thank you so much for being with us, Peter Walsh, and enjoy the fights.
Pleasure's mine.